Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, kings and queens of the land. Good afternoon, all the liberated zones. Good afternoon to Mali. Good afternoon to Niger. Good afternoon to Burkina Faso. All three liberated zones in Africa from the French colony. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to the Botswana people. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to the liberated zone in South Africa, KZN. Good afternoon. My name is Mgodum Konto, and this is the Royal Opinion. Thank you very much for joining. Today I want to talk about the speech. I listened to the inauguration speech of Mr. Duma Boko, who is the current elected president of Botswana. I listened to his speech with anticipation. Like I wanted to really. I was expecting him to say something uh, because I saw some videos circulating that gave an impression that he was going to change a lot of things in Botswana. So I was anticipating a speech, a very powerful speech from Mr. Duma Boko. But I am, with all due respect to him, he's an advocate. They say he's an advocate and a Harvard educated advocate. When I was listening to his speech, I was so shocked that I couldn't believe it because, like, I couldn't believe that a president could give an inaugural speech like that. I don't know if this speech are written for the president, or does the president reads and understand the speech before they go and talk, or what happens in that process. But I was so disappointed when I then listened to the speech of the president talking, because I had a different expectation. Please listen to the speech. Let's I'll interject in between the speech. I want you to listen to the speech and as well tell me what is your analysis. But I have to voice out my disappointment. I think these Harvard people, or the educated people who goes and get educated at Harvard University, one thing that they learn how to talk English without saying anything. I think in this inaugural speech, President Boko only spoke English and never said anything. I was expecting a lot of uh, things to be said. There's nothing that you can actually hold uh, President Boko to in this President Duma Boko to in this in his inaugural speech. I was so disappointed. So I want you to listen to the speech and then you're going to tell me your opinion about it. Give us your opinion about it.
Vice President of the Republic of Botswana, Mr. Ndaba, Nkosinat Aulad. Your Lordship, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Botswana, Mr. Terence Ranua, Speaker of the National Assembly, Ditapelo Keorapes, all honorable ministers here present, President of the Court of Appeal, Me Ebohotau, Deputy President of the National Assembly, Me Pushi Manyene, Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Dumelang Salishando.
One thing that was off for me from the start, that thing that the judge is wearing, the one who is soaring in the president, that thing that is wearing on his head, because he's the black man, so he wears that thing to represent the white hair, to represent the whiteness. So, like in an inauguration of Mr. Duma Boko, I did not expect that we can have in 2024 we can have that as part of the inauguration, and I did not expect.
Honorable members of Parliament, Khosi Puso Gaborone, Lemarara otlhe, Permanent Secretary to the President, Me Emma Peloetes, Judge President of the Industrial Court and Justices of the Court of Appeal, Attorney General of the Republic of Botswana, Me Mako Mpelega Abram, Judges of the High Court, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Baruti, heads of international organizations, President of the Customary Court of Appeal, Commander, Botswana Defense Force, Mr. Placid Diratsagae Segoko, and other service chiefs present, permanent secretaries here present, members of the media, performing artists, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. My fellow citizens, compatriots, and dear friends of the Republic of Botswana from near and far, I stand before you today and before God Almighty profoundly humbled. In our culture, a child is born to a community and raised by a village. It takes a village, sometimes several villages. A few decades back, a boy was born to the small village of Mahalapi. He played in those dusty plains, walked barefooted to school like the rest of the children, made friends, laughed and played, learned. He was growing, nestled in the safety of community, growing tall, growing big. But could he grow up? This question, happily, is not mine to answer. I leave it to the village, to the country, and to the world. I stand before you to celebrate the very foundation of the Republic: community, love, respect, Ubuntu. I stand before you to celebrate the esteemed and paramount office of citizen.
I don't even understand why is he telling the story of a boy. What I'm expecting here, I'm expecting him to talk about what is he gonna do about the unemployment rate of young people in Botswana. I'm expecting him to talk about what is he gonna do, his foreign policy about the involvement of the American army in Botswana. I expect him to talk about how is he going to make black people in Botswana or Botswana people, how is he going to give them the mines? How is he going to give ownership of the mines to the Botswana people? That's what I'm expecting. President Zuma was asked a question about what do you think? They asked him, what do you think about the election before Donald Trump won? They asked him to comment about the election. President Zuma said his comment, I want to actually remember precisely what he said. But President Zuma said, there's nothing to say basically about American elections because whoever gets elected, uh, the American policy remains the same. The American foreign policy remains the same. You can even elect a dog there. The dog will implement the same policy as what Donald Trump did. It will implement the same policy as what Joe Biden has done, as what Obama has done, as what Bill Clinton has done, as what George Bush has done. All of them have been implementing their American foreign policy of being a bully to everybody. So, President Zuma said, what do you want me to say? What is there to say about such elections? Because whoever gets elected, things will remain the same. So I think in Botswana, they have reached that point where whoever gets elected, things will just remain the same. I was expecting him to talk about the water privatization which is happening in Botswana, the water resources which are being privatized in Botswana and also in South Africa. I was expecting him to say what is he gonna do to provide the Botswana people uh, the water, not the water that they are selling to people. I was expecting him to talk about how is he going to provide free education to the Botswana people. He comes and talk about the boy. Eh, let's listen to President Boko talk about the boy.
Of the Republic of Botswana. I am because you are. You raised this boy. You nurtured this boy. This boy grew right before you. And it gives me pride, therefore, when I look into your faces and you look back at me and you say, that's my boy.
Listen to that. What is that? What is that? What that has to do with the president? That's my boy. Is how the president wants to project himself. Does the Botswana President Duma Boko wants to project himself as a boy, to tell them, to give them an image of a boy, not an image of a president who is going to change the lives of people in Botswana. You say, that's my boy, that's my boy, that's my boy for, like with all due respect, Mr. President, I you know, even say it, even try to push a certain emotion, try to push a certain emotion to people instead of saying the right thing. He wants to use emotions in the inaugural speech, which is actually uh, I would say maybe shameful. I really don't understand. That's my boy. Like the whole speech, I think this is the height of the speech. This is the climax of the speech. That's my boy. That's my boy. Is the climax of the speech. I was so disappointed. Let's listen to President Boko talks about my boy, but really, I think more is expected. I don't think President Boko is going to change anything in Botswana. He's going to continue with the policies of, I suspect, he's going to continue with the new colonial policies because I think that's what they represent. I was expecting more from him, but from what I listened to this speech for me is disappointing, and this is a typical Harvard uh, people, Harvard qualified people. They want to use some sort of emotions in their speech instead of like saying the right things. They want to push emotions. That's my boy.
And you say so because you raised the boy.
As you raise the boy.
You say so because you loved the boy. And you say so because deep down you know this boy loves you back. You now understand, if you didn't before, this boy loves you deeply.
What about the land?
This boy cares for you.
The boy cares, but what about the land? What about the minerals? Yes, the boy cares. The boy loves you. Like this speech, I think it's like he was talking to it was somebody talking to his girlfriend. It sounds like, for me, it was somebody talking to his girlfriend. It was not. I don't think it was worth to be. Give me your opinion about it. Uh, Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. I can accept if I'm wrong, but I think the speech is a really disappointment. Um, let's continue to listen to President Bob talk about the boy. We're still, now we're at 7 minutes. He hasn't said anything. This is a Harvard qualified advocate. What is he talking about?
He is your boy.
He's your boy. He's your boy.
This is indeed a historic moment, most humbling and most sobering. It is one of those rarefied moments that can only be acknowledged in retrospect. It is a story baked into the history of this country from inception. Where this story will take us, only God knows. This story encompasses more than what one man can comprehend. It reaches far across the sand-baked sands of Karakubis to the forests of Kavimba, from the acacias of Oliphant's Drift to the shepherd's trees of Omawenen, from the plains of Mabule to the bridge of Kazungul. This is your story. Embrace it. Be a part of it. Acknowledge the role that you played and continue to play in its unfolding. Stand hand in hand and shoulder to shoulder in this hour of great blessing. It is with a deep sense of appreciation that I stand before you today, the living embodiment of your deep and true resolve. Together, we usher in a new political dawn. This inauguration colorfully and poignantly demonstrates the human spirit and its desire to live in dignity, in peace with hope, and in unity with fellow humans. This desire is a powerful force for social reconstruction. You, my fellow Botswana, are the true architects of this day, a day that will forever be etched in the annals of our history and the history of Africa and the history of the world. This is Botswana. We have yet again become an intriguing as well as an instructive case study of democracy at work, not in abstraction, but for the world to learn from. The world watches with an eagerness ready to see how the story of the country progresses. For nearly 3 score years, our democracy remained unbroken, unproven, and untested. On the 30th of October, we tested democracy.
I don't think that has matured. The Botswana democracy has not matured. The white system or the British Empire has been able to uh, change leaders without worrying about who takes over because the system is so smooth for them. They are able to change the leaders uh, without changing the policies. So, in some other countries, problem is when you change the leaders, you may have to change the policy because other leaders like President Zuma may come in and try and change the policies. So in Botswana, because Botswana is a very small place with about between 2 to 3 million people, I think, Botswana. So I think the democracy has not matured. It has find a smooth transition. The system has found a smooth transition of power, but it's not democracy. It can't be democracy because this is disappointing. I don't think Botswana people voted for this kind of thing. let's continue listen, and maybe something will come out. But we are about 10 minutes into the speech, and the speech is 22 minutes long. He hasn't spoken anything about the land. He hasn't spoken anything because the land belongs to the British Empire. He hasn't spoken anything about the water resources that are being privatized in Botswana. He hasn't spoken anything about free education that Botswana so desperately need. Black people in Botswana desperately need. But let's listen in. Maybe he is gonna say something. I don't
in
know.
a novel way.
Halfway.
We tested the peace and stability of our daily lives. We tested the liberty and security of every person in this beautiful land. Invigilated by the world, we waited for the outcome of our efforts. It is with pride and perhaps even a tinge of relief that I can proudly say we toiled internally and externally. We tussled with a decision that weighed the weight of 2.7 million people. It was not an easy decision. I know, even now, a little voice lingered in the back of your minds, asking you, did I make the right choice? You will answer that for yourself in the next 5 years. That is the beauty of democracy. With confidence, I dare say to you, with the same care and diligence that you raised a young boy from Mahalape, you will create the Botswana we all desire. I dare say to you, you have given me strength and hope, and I'm prepared to return strength and hope to you 1,000-fold. I dare say that to every person, young and old, that today is because of the collective effort that went tomorrow, my beautiful and joyous citizens, to walk there together. There is
So far, nothing. So far, nothing. He hasn't spoken about any issue that concerns his country. He's talking about the boy, and on the other side, trying to be poetic, trying to follow the Harvard graduation speech, kind of like format or template. I think this is one of the worst inauguration speech I've ever seen.
in a gap thanks to the statesmanship exhibited by our former president, Remukwesi Eric Kiabetse Masisi. Please give him some love.
Please give him some love. Please give him some love. So far, nothing about what is he going to give to the Botswana people. What is he going to, the changes that is going to make to the Botswana people? I think this is a very, very dodgy speech. Like, very, very dodgy speech. I have never listened to such an inauguration speech. Like, this is worse. It's I don't know, it's psychological or what, what is happening. I don't know if he read this speech before, because it has got nothing to do with presidential inauguration. I suppose maybe in a part or something we can give this speech, because it's just hypothetical and psychological. It has got nothing to tell to the Botswana people. What is he going to contribute to the bordering South Africa? What is he going to contribute to SADC? What is he going to contribute? He's not saying anything. Is he gonna close the American base in Botswana? He's not saying anything. He's saying give him the love. Give him the love.
Please hug him in your soul. Embrace him in your heart. Botswana has the example of a true see and emulate. For that singular act, the former president will remain inscribed prominently in our hearts. He's written his name in flaming letters into the port. The message is one way.
Uh, this is where it takes the posture of the pastor now in the church. I think more like a graduation speech, combined with somebody who's got a background from the church, the Christian church as well, and somehow introduced to clubs at his later life. I think this is a combination of another different understanding, because he hasn't said anything about what is he going to, as president of Botswana. What is his plan? What is he going to? What policies is he going to implement? Uh, is he going to take the land from the Queen? Is he going to beneficiate the mineral? Is he going to make the Botswana people own the mines? Is he going to make the Botswana people owns the bank? Is he going to allow Botswana people to industrialize? He's not saying anything. Is he going to stop their privatization of water resources? Is he going to give free education to the Botswana people and children? He's not saying anything. I think it's just, I don't even know how to. I can say, I can compare Julius Malema. The difference between him and Julius Malema is Julius Malema, at least he howls, he's howling. This one, I don't know if he's preaching or what he's saying there. I really can't tell. And I don't think he's going to implement any changes in the government of Botswana, or like any changes to the life of black people in Botswana. I don't think President uh, Boko, with all due respect, that is going to make any change in Botswana. Reading by what he says in this speech is disappointing. I think it's the worst I have ever listened to a president on an inauguration speech.